Good morning. I got a cup of coffee and something to munch on. I always do that with my morning cup of coffee. Good morning, my lovelies. How are you all doing? Not that you can answer that question directly, but feel free to tell me in the comments. If you haven't already guessed, by the way that I'm dressed, I'm wearing my Hugh Heffner outfit. um, because I'm doing a video response to Dean, Dean's 5 questions, and I thought, let's show some solidarity. Let's put on the bathrobe, and I mean, I'm not making fun with it. I know why Dean wears that thing. He has no choice at the moment, but it's a matter of solidarity. Dean asked 5 questions, inspired by the main meister, whose questions, Alan's questions, who I answered those, and then Dean came up with a couple of good ones. So I thought I'd answer them, and let's just get right into it. The first question is, what percentage of retro versus modern gaming do I do on a yearly basis? I don't really keep track, but retro modern. Um, the only game that I have that actually tracks the amount of time that I use it is Elite Dangerous, and that takes the cake. So if we got right down to it, I think it would be like 80% modern and 20% retro. Although it doesn't feel like that. But then I have to take into account all the PS3 games that I've played, and the things on the Wii U. But does Twilight Princess, the remake, count as a retro game or a modern game? I'll count it as a modern game. I guess the only retro stuff that I do is on the Commodore 64. Um, and I spend quite a lot of time on that, but not all of it is gaming. It's gaming related because it's programming games, but um, uh, it's gonna end up at around 80% modern, 20% retro, which is funny when you look at it, but that's just the way it is. But it's fitting with what I've always done, because I've gone from being a Commodore gamer to a PC gamer, and I never was a console person until I got the PS2 from a friend. So everything that's console, even the NES, and it's that's basically all new to me. But no, it's going to be 80/20 is my guess. What's my favorite genre of game, past and present? Ah, I don't know about the past. I know that I was interested in and I played Unreal and Quake 2 a lot, and Duke Nukem 3D. And before that, I basically played anything that came along on the Commodore. But um, if I had to choose, I think there were racing games, there were sports games. We played boxing, and we played Summer Olympics, and we played. I didn't play as many shooters, not first-person shooters, but I didn't play as many what we call shoot 'em ups now. Games like Iridium, which is technically a good game, but it couldn't grab me, and 1942, those kinds of games. Time Pilot, nice games, but I never lasted very long, and that didn't attract me. So, but the games that reminded me of the old arcade games, so like the single screen platforming things like Popeye and Donkey Kong and Amidar and those kinds of games. So the old arcade games, that's what I played in the past. But I also played text adventures. And if I look at the present, then uh, what I like now mostly is like the sandbox type games like Minecraft and Elite, which is sort of the same. Empyrean, all games that just let you craft and mine and build stuff and that kind of thing. That especially with a friend, not alone. I'm not so much for first-person shooters because they make me vomit after a while on the wrong day. But I like third-person action, even if it's hack and slash or it's run and gun and that. Well, that's always third person, isn't it? Oh well, not necessarily, but twin stick shooters, Robotron, Geometry Wars, and there's a couple of them. I just played Entwined on the PS3, which doesn't have anything to do with shooting or destroying anything, but it's about thumbstick coordination, which is very difficult at times. So like quirky games, Journey, um, I like those. Third person, anything third person and twin stick shooters. But I also, I love driving games. Um, but that's the kind of thing that I either want to spend a lot of time on or not at all. In um, the GT series, Gran Turismo series on the PS2, I do the career mode and try to progress and get all my licenses and that kind of thing. And that took a long time. So something that you can really get into and stay in for a long time. But time doesn't permit me to do that. Although, or do that for many games. I can do it for one at a time and come back to that. But I can't have too many projects because I'll just drop them. So, what was the question again? Oh, my favorite genre of games. Yeah, that's it. Um, Next question. What are your biggest concerns or fears for the gaming future? Um, I use a time filter, uh, meaning that I'm not at the forefront, at the cutting edge of modern gaming. So I don't feel much of the pain that is felt there. New games, new styles. I just wait. I don't have a PS4. I don't have an Xbox One, and I won't get one um, until I really know what I'm gonna get. So, in that sense, developments that happen in that field, I just follow them from a distance, and I'm not really involved. But what does concern me uh, is the old hardware failing. Like what happens when my Vectrex fails? What happens when my arcade PCBs fail? I'm not always, um, I don't always have the technical skill to fix the problems that I encounter with those things. Sometimes, and some of the fixes are simple, but others, and it's not only technical skill; it's also time and the effort that you want to put in. So, if those machines go, that's a fear that I have. How long are they going to last, and what do I do if they break? That said, I was looking into FPGAs yesterday, and the technology of the future may be able, and the drive that retro gamers have to keep their stuff alive. If you look at the Commodore 64, if you look at the Commodore 64 Reloaded, if you look at the C65 Forever, I think that's what it's called. That's like an FPGA definition that you can run. You can just run a Commodore 65. That's the one that was planned after the 64, but never got to be. So technology is gonna probably help and fix that problem in the future. But as of right now, there are solutions to problems, but not to everything. Maybe what's going to happen? I can emulate. Maybe I don't know. That's the fact that I don't know is makes it a little bit fearful. I like these games. I like having them. I like being able to play them. And what happens if it all breaks down? What happens if my Wii U breaks down? What happens if my Wii breaks down? I don't have a lot of faith in modern technology lasting as long as the old technology did. Part of the reason being, for instance, the fact that we banned lead out of the solder that we used. Uh, the old stuff was really strong and would last much longer than the stuff that we use now because we banned lead, which is good for the environment. But is it gonna help us in the future? I don't know. Maybe I'm talking nonsense. I don't know. But the I don't know. That's indicative of what that's just the base of the fear is. Is it gonna last? Um, where do you see your gaming collection in 5 years or more? Um, I'm done collecting. I pick up the odd game. Let's make this a pickup video as well. I bought the Saboteur because Grubgun played it and said it's worth playing. There were some glitches in it, but and I'd seen this game before, so I'll buy the odd game, but I don't go out and expand my collection or have plans for my. So in 5 years from now, what I have. In 5 years from now, I think it's going to be much the same or less. I may give away some stuff, although the things that I have are the things that I want to have. So if I give anything away, it's because I bought something or got something that that I can part with. I have 5 PS1s, so I can probably part with one or two. I gave away one of my video packs to a friend, to Hans. Great. It's his. He wanted it, and it'll make him happier than me having it sitting here collecting dust. So my collection it may even become a little bit smaller. I do have to say that I've discovered the new, the homebrew C64 market, and there's actually a lot of games being developed in that field. Soulless, Guns and Ghosts, Hyperion. There's a lot of games. Rocket Smash, now the Spaceman Splorf game. Good titles that you can get for not so much money. So, that's something. Oh, and I'm looking for Elite 2 on PC. So anyone who has that, I'm your man. I am interested in some new titles. The new Zelda title that is planned for the Wii U in 2017. Not sure if it's gonna actually materialize, but that's the sort of thing that that I'd like to have. But at the same time, those games are expensive, and they don't drop in price very easily. Same as No Man's Sky. I know, Dean, you mentioned it as an example of, it's a great game, it looks nice, but if, as soon as it's no longer popular, they pull the plug and the game's gone. That's a very polarized view of it. I'd like to add to that the thought that if Minecraft is the same. If you play Minecraft without a server, you can technically, but it's not so much fun. Um, Armor 3, Empyrean. Those are examples of games where the server component is available, and basically not such a heavy a process that you can't run it for yourself. Um, I run a Minecraft server here. I've run an Empyrean server here. I haven't tried Arma 3, but they are uh, software components that anyone can just run. So it's not difficult to keep a server alive, if only for yourself. Now, games designed around multiplayer, that's a different story because you can still have a server, but if there are no players on it, then it's just you running around. It's the same as Minecraft on your own. I don't like it very much. Um, but still, the technology, someone pulling the plug, uh, isn't that bad if they make the server component available, which is what Elite have said. Because they manage the server now. They've said, well, if we ever decide to stop, we'll make the server available, and anyone can run a server. And what I've seen professionally as well in the open source market, the lengths that people are willing to go to make something and to make it available to the rest of the world at no cost is amazing. I'm working on OpenStack right now. OpenStack is a very professional tool for creating virtual servers. It's amazingly complete. It's very, very professional and totally free. So this world, the newer generations, if you ask a room of people who are downloaders, uh, many of the old generation will raise their hands. Yes, I download movies, I download games. But then if you ask the same room who are uploaders, you'll find that the younger generation are uploaders, people who create stuff and want to share it with the rest of the world. And hopefully by some magic process, become known or even get paid doing that. And it's happened. So I'm not so fearful of the fact that server stopping is the end of the games. Someone can just, put up a server, and you can rent server space for next to nothing, and plunk a game on there, and you've got a server. It's really easy. So I'm not so fearful of that. But I think that was beside the question, because that was, where do you see your gaming collection go in 5 years? Have I answered that? I think so. Yeah. What am I looking forward to the most? Game development in the future. That's an interesting question. When I was a kid and I saw the first Crazy Kong cabinets and the first video games, I can remember imagining what it would be like to walk around in that arena in 3D. Wow, what if that was possible? And then with games like Dragon's Lair, with the graphic capabilities. I mean, it was Laserdisc. I didn't fully realize that now, but I could see where the technology was going, and it's always been moving slowly towards um, emulating reality. That's what we're looking for. If you talk about Star Trek holodecks, virtual reality, we're looking for the moment where it's no longer possible to determine the difference between reality and virtual reality. So where do I see game development going? Take my coffee before it's cold. It's going to move forever. You can place any technology, all the Nintendo Wiimote technology and all that, you can place on a timeline moving toward the moment where you can no longer tell the difference between real and not real. Like the Turing machine, the Turing test says that it succeeds at the moment where a human being interacting with a machine can no longer tell the difference between a machine and another human being. So that is what we're moving towards. And we've now made the step to virtual reality. You know, the technology is there, it's slowly developing, it's now available to people, that'll speed things up, but we're still wearing those goggles and stuff. And something is gonna make us move closer towards that. And that is really the future, as I see it. You can live a game. It's going to be difficult if you get trapped in a situation where you can't, in the perfect situation where you can no longer see the difference between real and virtual. You could be in there forever. You could really be in the Matrix. What if we already are? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.